Today on the channel, we've got that maniacal master of mixing, the materials specialist, Mixmaster, the final Constructicon, on way I got it figured.
The way I got it figured.
What's up, figure fans? Way I got it figured, back with another Transformers Studio Series 86 review. This time, we're looking at Mixmaster, the final piece to having all 6 Constructicons and forming the mighty Devastator. I picked Mixmaster up on Amazon, even though the day he arrived, I saw him in Target the same day. So he's out there. It was somewhat hurtful to my ego that I was running around for 2 weeks and I kept missing Mixmaster, by minutes. Usually when I go to hunt for things, I find things. I'm a toy hunter. Probably don't really go all into that, but I do. I hunt. I'm a hunter and I find things. But Mixmaster just evaded me and evaded me and evaded me. So thankfully I had him pre-ordered on Amazon and he showed up yesterday. So we're gonna go over him, gonna get him out of the box. We're going to show him what all the Constructicons, but Devastator himself will have his own separate video, strictly Devastator. So starting with the package, we got Mixmaster in both modes from his standard artwork. Travels over to the side. Mixmaster in there, 5 of 5, 15 steps to conversion. Devastator on the side, Mixmaster on the back. Mixmaster combines with other Constructicons to form Devastator. Same as all the rest of the Constructicons say. So there is your look at Mixmaster's packaging. We're going to get him out and check him out. All right, so we've got Mixmaster out of the package. I deviated a little bit. He already has his accessory in his hand. He also comes with his mixing drum separate from his body, but I attached it to him already because it's not really an accessory. I don't know why it comes separate, but it is separate in the package, so be on the lookout for that. But, Mixmaster looks great. He's an upgraded version of the Combiner Wars figure, as they all kind of are. He does have the molded hands. He doesn't have separate hands. That's sort of a Combiner Wars vestigial leftover. But overall, I do think he's a pretty good figure. I've heard people say he might be the best one out of all of them. I don't know. It's hard to argue it. He is pretty good. But having Constructicons that can stand on their own as figures is a pretty good thing. Obviously, the main draw is still to be able to turn them into Devastator, so you're not going to go super hard on making them individual. But I think they've done, with all 6 of them, a very good job of making these figures worth having in a standalone fashion. Since most of my Transformers purchases for the year have been made, there's a very good chance that, since I'm not going to have a bunch of Transformers to buy, I may go ahead and pick up a second set of Constructicons and Aerial Bots so that I can have them have one Perma Superion and one Perma Devastator. That's very convenient, especially for, if you're going to do stop motions with them. You definitely want more than one copy because it just makes it easier for all the cheating that you have to do, how to combine them on screen and all that kind of stuff. And the dream, honestly, is always to have two. The dream for me is always to have two of every combiner. Wasn't really able to do it with the Constructicons. I did have the 4 limbs separate, but I didn't have Motor Master. But I ended up selling them, with breakdown for a significant amount of money because I ran into a little spot. But I also feel like it's a safe thing to do because there's no way in the world that I don't believe that Hasbro isn't going to re-release those guys. But that aside, looking at Mixmaster here, the subject of today's video, I mean, he looks good. His portrait, is pretty accurate. His proportions are pretty cool, unlike, let's say, like Scavenger, who just never going to have good proportions. And, he's nice and posable. He's got his little blast effect compatible, of course. On the back, you got his mixing drum. You do have to attach it. Again, not sure why they needed to make it where it had to be attached, but that's what they did. I imagine his transformation is going to be fairly simple, on the simple side, into his mixing cement mixer truck mode, and we're going to do that right now. All right, so we got Mixmaster in truck mode, and he's pretty cool. Transformation isn't really difficult. The hardest part is to get his knees to hinge like they're supposed to form the cab of the truck. But it's really just managing the limb. Not super difficult. You can see right there, his legs have to be 90 degrees up, the purple parts of his legs, and that's the hard part. But I wouldn't call it like hard. It's just a little bit difficult. He's functional. He rolls. You can store his little blaster on his arm, and that's pretty much it. All right, so we're gonna get him transformed back into robot mode to do some comparisons. All right, for comparisons, first off, we've got all 6 Constructicons, which it was absurdly difficult to get them all in the frame. But if you peek and poke, they're all there. Mixmaster, Scavenger, Scrapper, Long Haul, Hook, and Bone Crusher, the Constructicons. And I think, they are an improvement over the Combiner Wars figures, as I've shown. In some of the other videos, I've shown some of the comparisons with the Jin Biao ones where I thought it was necessary to do. But, they are all pretty spectacular. And, as a whole, that's what I mean. I'm not going to say each figure is a spectacular figure. That would be overstating it. But it's definitely good to have them, and we will see them again when I do the Devastator review. Devastator is going to get his own review, so be on the lookout for that. I'm not going to do any other comparisons, so we're going to move on to final thoughts. Final thoughts on Transformers Studio Series 86 Voyager class Mixmaster. Mixmaster, this is probably the best figure that we've ever gotten from Hasbro for a Mixmaster, just like with the rest of the Constructicons, even if they're not the best figures we've ever gotten. And I definitely like him. I don't know, he might be the best individual one. But he does kind of have like a straight up and down design, so maybe that's why. But I think he's definitely an 8 figure. I'm going to give him an 8 way I got a figure rank. Pretty cool on his own, but can't wait to get him formed into Devastator. So we'll be doing that as soon as possible. So look out for that video as well. I'm going to wrap it here. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. We've got a lot more Transformers videos coming because Transformers is the main thing on this channel, even though there's a lot of other stuff. So be on the lookout for that. Till next time, everybody stay safe. Happy collecting. See you on the next video. Peace.
The way I got it figured.